Right now, banks all over the world have $200 billion stuck in their accounts. It's not invested and isn't making any good money. It's just waiting to make foreign payments possible. The banking industry calls these accounts no and Vostro. They hold this money and are one of the least useful parts of our global financial system. But there is a technology being tested by big banks around the world that could free all of this trapped capital. We're going to talk in depth about the Nostro Vostro problem today. Most people have never heard of it, but it costs the world economy billions of dollars every year. You'll know why big banks are rushing to find options by the end of this video, and why XRP could be the key to getting to this huge pool of capital. To begin, let us look at the basics. What do Nostro and Vostro accounts really mean? Let us say you are a bank in New York and you need to send money to a customer in London who has an account at a different bank. The London bank only works with pound sterling, so you can't just send dollars there. You need a way to settle the deal and change the money. In this case, the New York bank has what is called a Nostro account at a London bank. This is essentially a cash account in pound sterling. In the eyes of the London bank, this account is called a Vostro account because it is held by a bank from another country. The New York bank has to keep money in this London account ahead of time, so that when people want to send money to the UK, the money is already there and ready to go. Music, take this situation and spread it out over thousands of banks, hundreds of countries, and dozens of currencies. A big bank doesn't need an account in every place where it wants to send money. A global bank like JP Morgan might not have any accounts in 50 or more countries, even though each one could have millions or even billions of dollars sitting there making very little interest while customers wait to ask to be transferred. It's hard to believe how big this problem is. Industry figures say that banks around the world have about $200 billion in Nostro and Vostro accounts. That's cash that could be used to make loans, buy stocks, or do something else useful. Instead, it's mostly just cash that's not being used that's sitting in foreign bank accounts. To give you some background, $200 billion is more than what most Fortune 500 companies are worth on the stock market. But, the waste is more than just cash that is stuck. Banks have to guess how much cash each Nostro account will need. And to be honest, they usually guess too high to escape looking bad if the transfer doesn't work. This means they usually have more cash on hand than they need. During busy times, they may run out of money in some accounts and have to add more, which takes longer and costs more. During slow times, they hold on to extra capital that isn't making much. It quickly costs a lot to keep these accounts open. Banks have to pay account maintenance fees, exchange rate fees, and opportunity costs on cash that isn't being used. In the end, these costs are passed on to customers through higher fees for sending money abroad. The $20 to $50 fee you pay for an overseas wire transfer helps pay for keeping this broken system running. Here is where XRP technology could be useful as a game changer. Banks could use XRP as a bridge asset for on-demand funding, instead of putting money in Nostro accounts around the world ahead of time. This is how it would work. Instead of using pounds that are already in a customer's Nostro account to send money from New York to London, the bank could quickly change the dollars to XRP, send the XRP to London, and then change it back to pounds when it gets there. You should know that this completely gets rid of the need for no accounts. Banks would no longer have to keep billions of dollars in foreign funds. They would be able to get cash on demand only when they need it. The money that was stuck in Nostro accounts could be used for something else, like loans, investing, or something else useful. The on-demand funding service from Ripple is already using this idea in real life. MoneyGram and other payment companies use XRP to send money from one currency to another without having to keep up with standard correspondent banking relationships or Nostro accounts. When MoneyGram wants to send money from the US to the Philippines, they change dollars into XRP, send the XRP right away, and then change it back to Philippine pesos when it gets there. No need to set aside cash ahead of time. I have to say that the numbers from early adopters are pretty amazing. The amount of working cash that companies need has gone down a lot for those that use on-demand liquidity. Before, money that was stuck in foreign accounts could not be used for business. Music. The time it takes to transfer money goes from days to minutes, because there's no longer a need to keep up those expensive correspondent banking ties. costs drop by a huge amount. But, it's not just about saving money. Freeing up Nostro Vostro cash could be very good for the economy. Imagine that $200 billion that was taken out of accounts that weren't being used could be put back into the economy to help it grow, lent to businesses and consumers, or even put into assets that would earn more money. Music. This might, boost the world economy and make more money for bank owners. A lot of big banks are aware of this chance. There are a number of big banks that are trying blockchain-based alternatives to traditional correspondent banking. Central banks are looking into how digital currencies issued by central banks could help settle cross-border transactions without the need for Nostro accounts. At the same time, payment companies are looking for options to the traditional correspondent banking system. The rules and regulations are also getting better for these new ideas. Financial officials are aware that the current system isn't working very well, and they're open to new technologies that can make cross-border payments faster, cheaper, and more clear, while still following the rules that are already in place. Music. In the near future, more and more people may start using on-demand liquidity options. As more banks see the benefits that early users are getting, there will be pressure for more banks to follow suit. If banks keep putting billions of dollars into Nostro accounts, they will lose out to banks that can use that money more efficiently. It's not just banks that have to deal with the 200 billion Nostro Vostro problem. It's a waste of money that affects everyone who sends money abroad or depends on global trade working well. The on-demand liquidity option for XRP is a way to free up this trapped capital and make the global financial system work better. The banks that see this chance early will have a big edge over their competitors. The technology that makes this possible could become very popular as the rest of the financial industry learns about its benefits. Nota bene. Do keep in mind that I am not a professional financial advisor.